What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? How are we doing today? Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Late Night Show with Dr. Kojo. I'm your host, Dr. Kojo, checking in from sunny Los Angeles, California. It's been a good day today. I've said that line like 3 or 4 times earlier today, filming some other stuff. But we have a very exciting topic. Let me get very nice. We have a very exciting topic. We're going to be talking about some of the parts of ADHD that we actually do appreciate. But before we get into it, go ahead, use the comment section to let me know who you are and where you're from. And let's get started. Comments. Hey, Jess, what's going on? Jess from North Carolina. Jess, what's up? What's up? We got Alex. Alex, what's good? How you doing? Let's. Hey, shout out to the Titans. We're not going to talk about the game because I don't feel like being depressed tonight. So please, we'll talk about the game this time next week after we beat the Bills. But right now, it's too much. It's too much. Can't take it. Josh says, I love being able to think outside the box. Oh, the parts of ADHD that you like about yourself. We're about to get into it. Let me go through and see where people are coming in from real quick. Gainesville, Florida. Mary, what's up? Kendra, what's up? How you doing? Sarah, what's up? Summer from Indiana. Amanda from Hamilton, Ontario. Okay, so we got Canada in the house. Jamare from Illinois. Let me see. Cody from Texas. TR from Ohio. Roxy from Ontario. Charlotte, North Carolina in the house. What's going on? Crystal, what's going on? Vancouver. So we got 2 folks from Canada. We got Megan from Tennessee. South Carolina, Minnesota. Sean, I appreciate you. Oklahoma, Mexico City, Tennessee. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about it. We have people checking in from all over. So the before I get into it, I want to say that I did miss this morning's live stream. It should have been yesterday, but I missed it, so I will make up for that this week. We'll have a day where we do double shows. Not today because I have something after this, but we'll have a day where we do a double show, maybe even a triple show because my schedule should be a little bit freer towards the end of the week. But this topic is a very important one because we post a lot about ADHD on this channel, and I talk about the signs and symptoms of it, how to recognize it and how it affects us. But I don't think we ever talk about how it could be something that could help us out in our personal lives and our professional lives. And I don't think any one of us, if you have ADHD, I don't think you are like, hey, like I love this ADHD thing. I want to keep having ADHD. I want to keep taking Vyvanse or Adderall or whatever, but we have it and it's not going anywhere, right? So when you can reframe things cognitively and you can say, hey, I had this thing, it's not going anywhere. So what are the things that, what are the traits I possess because I have ADHD that I can use to help others and help myself? So if we can think that way, could make life a little easier. All right. Ashley says, no, I hate it. So Ashley, before I get into the parts of ADHD that we appreciate, I think it's perfectly fine that we acknowledge that a lot of people may feel the way Ashley feels, because on days where I forget to get the trash out and I get a parking ticket, or I wasted tons of money on some expensive equipment and I never use it. Like on the days when ADHD is kicking our ass, like it's there's nothing positive about it, right? So if this is how you feel, this is a completely valid feeling. So even though the topic is what it is, this is it's a valid feeling. So Brian says ADHD helps in sales. Wow. Okay, that's what's up. Jennifer says being able to write a note in answer to a question while continuing to speak to the person I'm on the phone with, essentially having 2 conversations at once without missing a beat. So Jennifer, I've done this before, and it's cool, but for me, I get spaced out. Like I'm trying to take care of things, and I feel like I'm losing myself. Callie says turbo mode, hyperfixation superpower. I like that. Ashley said, I appreciate how excited I get for things when I'm hyper focused. So Ashley, I'm happy you mentioned this. The person with ADHD who's working on something, when you have a little bit of pressure and that hyper focus kicks in, like you're unstoppable. You can literally build the Great Wall of China because you have all the focus in the world. Like you take it and you can just do whatever. If only we could feel a fraction of that way throughout the rest of our lives. Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. Kobe says, "Can you please say happy early birthday, Ari?" Happy early birthday, Ari. It's the 26th days. What the today's the 13th. So this is a super happy early birthday, but happy early birthday. All right. So Stephanie said, "Self-employed with ADHD makes me more creative, but makes it so hard to do admin functions in my business." So Stephanie, I feel the same exact way, right? So I feel like ADHD allows me to have all these creative video ideas and think of different ways to help out people and different ways to express myself. But at the same time, the admin stuff does really suck, and I still suck with that. I suck at checking emails and doing like just admin related tasks, and I have assistants to help out. But there's I don't think I'll ever enjoy doing admin related stuff, right? But we'll still do what we have to do. But like I can tell you right now, I'll never love it. Bonnie says, "I'm zooming and taking care of things." So that's something else that could be positive. Like you could be all over the place and take care of things. I think that's how you meant it. The busier I am at work, the more I flourish. Okay. I'm kind of this way too. Sometimes I think for those of us with ADHD, having idle time is just the worst, right? Time where we just have to like sit around and be bored. I'd rather be busy than to be bored. But I don't think you might have ADHD and you may feel differently. Um, Jessica says, "I'm super crafty, but I spend so much money on my next project only to lose interest halfway through." Ooh, that can definitely be a problem. But it's cool that you're super crafty, it's not cool that like we're wasting so much money on the project, but you don't know if you're gonna lose interest until you're halfway through the project. So like that's kind of like the blessing and the curse of it, Jessica. But thank you for sharing. Lauren says, "I thought I was having a memory loss, early dementia before I was diagnosed with as an adult with ADHD." So, Lori, I think I know what you're talking about. You may be talking about working memory, which is what a lot of us with ADHD struggle with. Where you can tell me whatever happened, 5 Septembers ago, but whatever you were talking to your friend about 25 minutes ago, like you completely forgot. You're like, I was just talking to them, but I forgot why I came here. I forgot why I'm talking to you. And that's definitely something I see with ADHD. Um, I'm still trying to make Kendra. A lot of us are, and there's nothing wrong with this because even for me, I'm still trying to figure out how to make ADHD work for me. Right? Once we've got to the point where you've accepted it, and you're like, okay, this is who I am, and I'm still gonna live my life. But I have to figure out how to thrive, with the condition. Then we try and we put the pieces together over time. Taylor says multitasking. I can do 10,000 things at once. Everything might get done, but or did you mean everything might not get done? But yeah. I feel you on that. Thank you for sharing. I hate getting interrupted when I'm hyper focused. Men, I'm the same way. Like when, and I think a lot of times, so I'll have the evidence to back this up. The direct correlation between being hyper focused and mood swings. I don't have evidence to back it up, but I think I'm onto something here. Hear me out. If you have ADHD and you struggle to get things done, let's say it's 7 o'clock on a Tuesday, right? Tuesday night, and for whatever reason, you can get things done right now. Like all day you couldn't focus, but right now you're in the zone. You're writing your paper. It's a 12-page paper, and you're on page 7. You feel like you caught fire. You're doing your thing. Boom, boom, boom. You're drinking your coffee and then somebody interrupts you and they're like, "Hey, can you go give mom a ride from the airport?" And you're like, "Oh, man, I just got my focus." And for me to get up and drive to go pick up mom from the airport and then come back, by the time I come back, I'm not gonna be able to focus or like, and there is evidence behind that where with ADHD it's hard to stop one thing and then start another thing and then get back to that first thing, right? But I feel like being interrupted while you're in the middle of a episode where you're hyper focusing and you're getting things done, sometimes like that'll just piss anybody off, right? You're like, I can finally get this thing done, and now somebody needs me, right? You don't need me all day, but then the moment that I can focus, guess what? Somebody has to come and you need me for something, right? That's so yeah. It's the worst, but I'm like, hey, if I have to take care of the thing, I'll get up and do it. But otherwise, I'm like, just let me focus. Shannon says I was promoted because of my organization skills. I tell my kids that. Margie says, you just learn when your focus moments are. I'm a list queen. I have never been medicated and don't want to be at this point. But I'm so glad that I'm able to understand my children and give them the support through meds and counseling as needed. Wow, wow, Margie, thank you for that. I like that perspective. I think that deserves the love of the show right there. And the reason why I like that is because like you understand that how one thing how the condition looks like for you and what it means for you and how it impacts you is different from how it impacts your kids, because you can say like I don't want to do medications, I'm just going to figure out a couple of lifestyle things, but maybe my kids need meds or maybe their kids need meds. And I like that because there's no one exact way to handle this condition. Like it's trial and error, and it's talking to the patient and saying, hey, what works, what doesn't work, let's figure out what works for you, not try and push medications down and force you to take it, right? Even though I am a big fan of medications, their first line. Ariel says, I can literally make anything happen on the fly. Pressure makes I like this right here. Gotta give you a love to show for that. I like that. I like that because I can relate to that. Like being able to like adjust on the fly and take care of things. But that can make us, just organized throughout the day. But it's still nice to be able to like kick things into high gear when we really have to like, get things going. So I like that. Chris says, my out of the box thinking. Hey, look. So once again, I have no evidence to support this. I don't know if Benjamin Franklin had ADHD. I think he created the light bulb, right? Or no, that was Thomas Edison. One of them, but Benjamin Franklin, he created everything outside of Wi-Fi, it seems. But Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Edison, all the great inventors, Henry Ford, like I would not be surprised if some of them had ADHD, because who thinks about, oh, I'm going to go make a car, I'm going to make a plane, or like, like somebody had to have that thought before we had electricity, so maybe they had ADHD. I don't know. Let me get some more. I love being in a crowded room, reading or writing, and the murmur in the room becomes, oh, that's neat. Tanisha, that's a dope name. It's easier for me to understand my kids when they have meltdowns due to homework or other things. And Yvonne, I'm sure that your kids appreciate that, because there's nothing worse as a child, to be having like a meltdown, right? And you're frustrated, and then you're talking to your parents, and they're like, you're rude, you're disrespectful, go to your room. But like you've had a hard day, so like having an empathetic parent, I think that goes a long way. Kathy says, it's allowed me to have a deeper sense of empathy for my middle school students to work. Okay, wow, Kathy, that's neat. That is neat. Let me see. ADHD. People with ADHD are great under pressure. Yeah. So sometimes under pressure is the only way we can get things done. Sometimes I feel like that's why we're good under pressure, because if there's no pressure, nothing gets done. But then when there's pressure, 99% of the assignment gets done. When there's no pressure, you can write your name down, right? Like we know that you get tests, write your name down, you get like 5%. But when the pressure's on, then you're like, all right, I can actually begin to do what I need to do right now. Crystal says, but thankful for my ADHD because I be here when I can and when it's easiest for me. Crystal, and that's one thing about the lives. These live streams, they're never going to be deleted. The only way I would ever delete a live stream is, let's say I brought on a guest and like we did the live, and after the fact, they're like, oh, I don't feel comfortable with me being up online or take it down. Then I would take down the live, right? But if it's just me by myself, like I will never delete the live. So you can always catch it like after the fact. I wait till last minute to get things done, but I get everything right. So Jackie, here's another thing. If you wait until the last minute to get things done and you've been doing that your whole life and you still get things done, then you're not going to have a lot of incentive to start doing things early, because we wait until the last second to get everything done and we still get everything done, right? So, if you make a little bit of progress with this, a little bit of progress goes a long way, right? And if you make no progress, like, we're still maintaining, we're still doing pretty good because you do get the thing done, right? Um, Many ADHD people are very creative, for sure, for sure, yeah. And I don't know if they're Benjamin Franklin creative, but I would say they're quite creative. Um, Let me see. The ability to mesh into just about any social group. Leilani, what's going on? Thank you for checking in and make sure I can get to the live on time. The ability to mesh into just about any social group. I feel being a researcher and my need for knowledge and understanding makes me gain so much perspective and random knowledge to hand off to my inquisitive 4-year-old. Okay. And I feel like that's I feel like that could be like an ADHD thing, being able to like kind of like you're socially malleable, like when to like kick it into the high gear version of yourself that's sociable and like you can talk to people, and then know when to like chill out, and like you're able to manage your social energy so you don't get like completely exhausted, right? Because if you get fully burnt out socially, it's rude to be talking to some. Let's say I'm talking to Leilani at some gathering, right? And we're talking, and my social battery is drained out, and after 5 minutes of talking, I'm like, I, you can't do that, right? But being able to know how to be in certain situations means that like you'll manage your energy, efficiently, So I feel like that could be an ADHD thing. Um, I do not work in healthcare, but I also remain super calm. Oh, all right. So I'll be clicking other people's comments. I'm not gonna go back to back, Leilani, but I do want to talk about this because this is super cool. Because for me, I think that's why my first couple of years working in healthcare, right, when I was working as a psych nurse, like I did pretty well, right? Because you could have an emergency on the unit, you can have a patient who might be throwing feces, or you can have a patient who's aggressive trying to fight, and then the doctor puts in the order, they're like, we're going to give this person Haldol 3 times, and Benadryl, and then I go with the LPN, I'm like, all right, we're going to give this medication, and you'll have this patient who's like in an uproar, and the whole unit is like all over the place, and I'm just kind of like, all right, so the doctor ordered you this medication. If you take it, like it'll allow you to feel a little bit better, help you clear your thoughts. So being able to be calm in an emergency is, I don't have the evidence to say it's an ADHD thing, but I do think that when a million thoughts are running through your brain all the time, and you're used to having like everything like going all at once, when you go into a situation that's chaotic, it almost feels like it's normal for you. Like it feels like it's home. So you're like, okay, like I live with the chaos in my head every day. So like this chaos is like nothing. And it's cheers time. Almost cheers time. Almost time for the water break. Almost time for the water break. I like doing curbside pickup. I buy what I need or what I know I like, so then I don't see all the other options. I just you may have taught me something, because shopping is hard for me. All right, Gail says Benjamin Franklin invented the lighting rod and bifocals. I love knowing random facts, but I can't remember important things I should know. So thank you, because Gail, I did not know. I knew Benjamin Franklin invented something important, but I'm like, fourth grade was a long time ago. But I do the same thing as well. So I gotta give you a love of the show right here. I gotta give you a love of the show because I know random facts that I'll never get credit for, but important things that I should know. I don't know, and like, I mean, I'm not gonna, if somebody asks me something I don't know, I'll tell you, but I'm not gonna tell myself some of the things that I didn't know, or some of the countries I didn't know were, countries, or what was a city. Certain things we don't know, but as we get older, we try and figure out the rest of it. You're right. It was Thomas. Thank you. All right, cool. So it was Thomas Edison who invented the light bulb. Got it. I knew I wasn't way off. I knew if I was like almost off, like a little off, but not all the way off. Ashley says the best teachers have ADHD is always in you. I do that for me. I get the tough kids, never a dull moment. And actually, that's pretty cool because with the I'm not sure what you mean by the tough kids, or maybe the kids who are maybe troublemakers. But when you're able to like handle any type of situation, I think kids will respect you more. Like if a kid, like if I was in your class, right? Let's say you teach seventh grade, and I walked into your class and I'm the class clown. If I have a teacher who can joke back and forth, but it's like, all right, it's time to get the work done. I'm like, all right, this is Miss Miss when it's time to go Miss Pilato's class, like we can't play around. I'm gonna make sure I'm on my P's and Q's today. Angelica, what's going on? A lot of love from the Philippines as of late, so I appreciate everybody. Love your videos and shorts. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I drive an elementary bus grade, pre-K through fifth. Thankful for my ADHD to do everything bus driving involves. I love my job. Brandon, thank you for sharing. And you know what? I never thought about this until I was talking. My sister came into town for Coachella back in April. I think that's when it was. And we are talking about our fourth grade bus driver, Ms. Lawson. Because she was just so cool. Like she'll just go back and forth with the kids, and then she'll play the songs that we want her to play, and she'll cut the radio up. And I felt like that was one bus driver who really, really, really loved her job, and like we looked forward to like being on the bus, you know. And I feel like that's what you could have with your kids, or that's probably what you already have, because like you love your job so much. So this is what I thought about. But ADHD, I enjoy driving, and like being here in LA, it's new for me. So looking around and seeing you can learn, like as a bus driver, I'm sure you learn streets, at least that path that you take, you're pretty good at it. So being able to memorize things and being able to figure out the city, and multitask, I can see how your job could be super exciting for you. Cynthia, I'm so glad that you all found me. I really, really appreciate you all. Not only the followers, but also the engagement. The engagement is actually better than the following, because whenever I go live, to have 200 something eyeballs here, it's like there's 200 people in a room who want to hear what I have to say. And I'm like, I want to hear what you all have to say back. So I think it's pretty cool. And Adrian, I'm very, very sorry to hear this. I had a friend talk about when she lost her dog, and it's extremely traumatic. I didn't understand how traumatic it was until I got a dog myself, and now I can't imagine life without my dog. So please take care of yourself. Whatever you need emotionally, don't be afraid to ask for that. But it's a shame that I had to get a dog before I could realize how big of a loss a dog was. Because now, like I think of my dog. But yeah, take all the time that you need, Adrian, one day at a time. Benjamin Franklin flew a kite, and the lightning spark. The rest. Wait, is that how? Is that how it started for real? Oh my gosh! If that's how it started, and I admitted that I didn't know that that's how it started, then that's embarrassing. But hey, Alyssa says, I feel there are so many teachers with ADHD. I wonder if there's a correlation. That's a good question. Listen, I don't know, because for me, like, as a professional, I have to go off of evidence-based information. So if something's not evidence-based, then I'll say, I'm not sure about this, and I think this is how it goes. But if there's evidence, I'll say, oh, no, this is evidence-based. There's literature behind it, boom, boom, boom. Because I don't want people to forget that even though I make the videos, I'm going to keep making these videos and short films and films and movies and stuff. But like, I'm still a professional, so I have to be evidence-based. And when it comes to teachers having ADHD, I don't know if there's any literature that supports that a lot of people who have ADHD go on to become teachers. But just as I'm thinking about it, I can see why a lot of people with ADHD could come back around and become teachers, because with ADHD, when you find something that you're good at and you naturally enjoy it, you'll do it over and over and over. So you could become an expert within that thing. So if you love math and you're better at math than most people, and you keep progressing and you go to college and you learn about that skill, then I can see how you'd want to teach, math to high school students, college students, or even teach, like in different settings. You don't have to be a teacher, but like even kind of like what I'm doing is maybe teaching in a sense, like educating others. I think when you have ADHD and you're knowledgeable about something, the likelihood to want to tell people about that thing is pretty high. So I feel like it's linear. You know, I don't know what y'all think, but I feel like it's kind of linear. Um, let me see. Ali says same, but people understand. I agree. I agree. And let me see. Liz, I'll get to your comment in just a second. And shout out to Kendra and Jasmine for moderating. I do appreciate it because I try and get to. I wish I could get to every comment, but you know, I don't think I'll ever be able to get to every comment. But at least if we can like, get to comments throughout as I talk, I think that's pretty cool. But like I'll be doing more live streams. I'll be doing gaming live streams where less people join those. So that could be a great chance to like have your comment read or even just to ask me a question. I thought I'd mention that. Cynthia says, I always feel that when someone talks, I have the urgency of interrupting and adding. So Cynthia, I feel this way a lot too. And I feel like I learned a tip from somebody online. I think it was maybe somebody who commented this under one of my videos, and I started to do it. They said something like, when you're talking to somebody, like watch their mouth as they're talking and wait for them to be done, like physically talking before you talk, and that's been helpful for me because if I'm like, let's say I'm talking to like a guy who looks like me and I see his mouth talking, I'm going to say, all right, I'm going to wait for this dude to stop talking, then I'll reply, right? But if I have to rush and talk, I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember that, and then I've embarrassed myself and I've interrupted somebody, right? So yeah, thank you for sharing that, Cynthia. Liz says hyper focus, problem solving has served me my entire career as an accountant. Oh wow, okay. Now I hunt wild mushrooms, and boy, did I focus on learning that. Wow. So Liz, if you're still on this stream, like I like hunting wild mushrooms, I'm very interested. I feel like you might take us on a tangent, but hunting wild mushrooms and that's it's not something that I would do or I couldn't imagine how I would end up doing that. So I'm interested in what you do for a living. If you're still on, I'd love to know a little bit more. You have validated your age diagnosis. The rest of us, you can't just do one thing. You have to have many. Lisa, I feel like you're a friend who you really know me, Lisa. Yeah, I have to do many different things at once. And I appreciate the appreciation. If I'm not doing a lot of things, that I don't feel like I'm doing anything, right? Like I have to do a lot of things, and then when you do 14 things at once, I'm okay with the fact that 4 to 8 of them won't be done properly, right? But the 6 things that I do really well, I'm going to do those things better than anybody else, right? So let's say I'm making videos, I want to be the best at doing that. Just whatever, like seeing patients, especially like if I'm seeing a patient, like I'm gonna be good at that one thing. If I have to drop other things, I have to put like a human life above other things. But yeah, like I have to have many projects going on all at once, or else like I don't feel like I'm, you know, doing anything. Um, Ashley, people ask me this question a lot. Once I find the book, will recommend that to you all. But this is a really good question. And actually, whenever I find this book that I recommend for ADHD, I'm hoping that it's going to be a book that has an audiobook version because I know how it is with ADHD, right? We can read books, but if it's like an audiobook, it might actually, we might get through it a little bit quicker than having to like sit down and like read the thing. But I hope to get the book in 2 versions um, for y'all. I'm just gonna leave this here while I chase next comment. Someone said Smurf. Oh boy. And I'm over this. I feel. Oh wow. Well, I'm sorry. We do the best that we can here, and sometimes there's like 500, 600 people in. But keep in mind if you did decide to stay, like we're doing the best that we can, and I would say we're all proud of the work that we're doing here. Me and my team and all of us collectively, we're doing a good job here. But keep in mind, I will be doing more gaming streams. So the gaming streams could be Gaming streams might naturally become a good like Q&A stream. I'm not sure where I'll take it, but I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about it. All right. Emma says, I hate reading. I can't focus on the words on the page. Get mad and end up throwing the book. Hate book reading. Also dyslexic. Right. So Emma, that's why, like, when I recommend a book, and the book that I'm writing that's coming out in December, there's no audiobook version for it yet, but that's something that I've had on the back of my head, and maybe if there's an audiobook equivalent, because it's a workbook, right? You can't like you have to like write in it, but so I see how that's not an audiobook, but if there's any way to make it an equivalent, like I will talk to the company and see if we could do that. Let me get this. Oh shoot, my time. Oh, can somebody drop in the magic word? Somebody drop in the magic word real quick, and let me address this. Samantha says, I know a lot of experts say that multitasking slows you down, but for me, I feel like I stay focused better. All right, so here's my thing about multitasking. It depends on what you're doing, Megan. If you ask me, like, let's say you're just cleaning the house on a random Sunday and you're on the phone. If you're multitasking, then okay, we can just get to things as we get to them. But if you're working on a big assignment for work, right, and there's different priorities on the assignments, it may not be effective to be multitasking, because the thing that you would have to do first, right? You don't want to start that thing and then bounce around, and no, like it would be helpful to do that one thing, finish it all the way through, boom, we're done. We move on to the next task, right? In order of priority, let's do that, boom, all the way done, we're good. All right, let's move on to the next thing, boom, boom, boom. You've done the first 5 things, right? Maybe you had 20 things to do, but you did the first 5 and they were all priority, right? So if you don't do a 6th one, you're good, as opposed to jumping all over the place and you'll do like 12, but you didn't do any of the priority ones, so you're behind. So I think it depends on what you're doing with multitasking. I hope that made sense, because I really struggle with, I try to do everything at the same time, and I have to figure out, all right, I can't multitask everything in life, because I was starting to get in trouble for it. Things just weren't getting done, All right. Brett, I don't want to cry tonight. Oh my gosh. Give us one more week, and then hopefully I can talk about the Titans. I'm about to be sad again. Mickey, Vicky. That team. All right. So the magic word. Cheers. Get the water break in. Oh boy, Mickey Ficky. All right, so all right, I do have to get off. I'm gonna get a couple of emails and stuff. Mickey Ficky. All right, but I don't know if all y'all have iPhones, but the new iOS update, like I'm rocking, the way it looks for those of us with ADHD, it's helpful for me to open up the phone and I can see the date, the time, the weather. It's always sunny here in LA, but I just like this new outlook. I thought I'd mention that. But all right, gotta go, y'all. I gotta check a couple of emails, but we'll be back on. We will definitely have another stream before Thursday, but the next scheduled show is Thursday at 6 p.m. California time, 9 o'clock on the East Coast. So until the next show, I will see you all later. But I appreciate your patience. For those of y'all who sat through this, and if you're watching the stream, the playback, I do appreciate your attention as well. So take care. And thank you to the mods, Leilani and Kendra. And Leisha, you're day 1 too, so I appreciate all of y'all. And let me address this. I won't be on later tonight because I got too many emails to go through, but I will be on tomorrow's Wednesday. Yeah, I'll be on tomorrow. I'll be on tomorrow. Maybe twice if I can fix that computer. But I'll be on at least tomorrow once. So I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace, peace.